Why hello, I've missed you. Have you missed me? It's been quite a while since we've done one of these in MTG ASMR, but here we are, about to do a premiere draft Crimson Vow. We're waiting eagerly for the preview season to commence for Kamigawa Neon Genesis Evangelion, whatever it's called. I'm sure it'll be interesting at the very least, but in the meantime, I haven't played as much Crimson Vow as I would have liked to, so we're jumping in. Let's start with the draft phase, shall we? Okay, we start with our rare Sigarda's Summons, 4 white for an enchantment. Creatures you control with a 1/1 counter on them have base power and toughness 4/4, have flying, and are angels. Seems pretty win more to me. Then we have Innocent Traveler, 4 mana 1/3 human. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a creature. Anyone can actually. If no one does, you transform it to the Malicious Invader. Also really not interested in that either. So what does that leave us with? Well, we've got a Sigardian Paladin, 2 green-white. As long as you've put 1 or more 1 counters on creatures this turn, it gains trample and lifelink. You know, we're going to pick that prospectively. It's definitely the most powerful thing that we saw. We'll see where it goes from there. Next we get Saw Blade Slinger, 4 mana, 4/3. It can destroy an artifact an opponent controls, or it can fight a zombie they control. It doesn't sound that interesting to me. So what does sound good? A Brine Comber. Oof, duh. And Arm the Cathars. Boost up a lot of creatures. A Sigarda's Imprisonment. It's just a good removal spell. We'll take the Arm the Cathars off of it being uncommon. We get past Old Audric. They did our boy dirty, didn't they? Took a favorite character and dumped him down the toilet. Meanwhile, we have Reclusive Taxidermist, a 1/2 that can tap for a mana and gets +3/+2 as long as you have 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard. That is quite nice, isn't it? 2 mana ramp spell that also gets beefy later on. We're all about that. Okay, now we're looking at an Estwald Shield Basher, 4 mana 4/2, and it attacks you can pay 1 to give it indestructible, which is interesting. Sigarda's Imprisonment is removal. Removal. And a Toxic Scorpion, a 2 mana 1/1 Death Touch, which I think is pretty sweet, actually. You know, that kind of acts as removal as well, but it's also a creature and can push damage. I think we're going to go for that. Alright. Now what? Lantern of the Lost, no thanks. Nurturing Presence. Not that interesting. Unholy Officiant. You know, I'm not in love with any of this stuff. We're going to take an Unholy Officiant, which I don't believe is a very good card. You know, interestingly, we have not seen much in the way of 1/1 counters. We still have nothing. We do have another Toxic Scorpion, which, again, I am going to say is a good card. And now we have Stone Nothing left for us. I guess we'll take a Blood Fountain and plan to not play it. Looking at a lot of nothing now, which is a little troubling. We'll take a Mulch. We are not going to play it, but we want to cut green if we can. Bach Escort, a card I've heard is not good, but again, cut some white. Not that it's not good. Let's say it's very situational. So 1 mana 1/1 Vigilance. You sacrifice it to make a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. Gain lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. It plays more like a spell than a creature, really. Piercing Light. Now that's actually quite a nice sign for us. Because if anyone else was in white to our right, they would have picked that up already. So I believe white is wide open from that direction. There's definitely one key key component missing from our 1/1 token deck, and that is the ability to put 1/1 tokens onto creatures. Is this a problem? Absolutely. Am I confident that we are going to solve that problem going into Pack 2? Definitely not. Time will tell. Instead, we get past a Bramble Armor. It's not a bad card, it's an equipment. Gives you 1 free equip. Blood Servitor can go to the sideboard. Want some funky mechanized noises? I've got a cup of tea I'm enjoying. I've got rice cooking for dinner. I'm not just eating rice, there are other ingredients. I'm just letting you know because you may or may not hear my rice cooker sing the song of its people. Funnily enough, the last pick was Syncopate, which I was kind of thinking about taking early. Now, what do we have in Pack 2? No rare for us. Is a cool card, Concealing Curtains. An 0/4 wall that turns into a big eyeball menace creature. There's Bride's Gown. Don't really care. Now, there is Griff Rider. And that is a way that we can get 1/1 counters. There's also a Piercing Light. There's a Wolf Strike. Ooh. I'm going to take the Griff Rider. We need to make this counter plan work. Ooh. Now we get past a Tauren's Fist of the Angels. 1 green white for a 2/2 trainer. When you cast a creature spell, you make a 1/1 green and white human soldier creature token with training. Now we are getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. Is there any chance that will wheel? Any chance at all? Because I would love to pick up this Rural Recruit. Ugh. I'm gonna make a big call here. You know what? We'll get past something from this pack. I don't think I'm supposed to pass up the rare. Alright, I picked it up. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure how I feel. We have another rare pass to us. Ascendant Pack Leader. Green for a 2/1. Enters a battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it if you control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater. And when you play a spell that costs 4 or greater, it gets a 1/1 counter. That's cool and all, but we got past another Sigardian Paladin. So we are very much all in on this counter plan. We just need more and more ways to get counters. Griffwing Cavalry is a good way to do that. Yeah. And it's a human, yeah. We're pretty pleased with that. Now we have a Wolf Strike. It's just a bite. It's just a good card. And it's removal that we would definitely like to have. Now we have really nothing much. A Nebelgast Beguiler. A 5 mana tapper. I think that's going to have to be the pick. I don't think that's awesome for us or anything, but we'll take it. We will definitely take another Toxic Scorpion. I'll honestly take as many of these as I can get. And hope that I can prove LR wrong when they said it was a C. A Witch's Web is a combat trick. Don't know if it'll get there, but maybe. And now we are in the dregs. Lots of blue going around, which, you know, we're not surprised by because blue is supposed to be a pretty poor color in this set. We do pick up a Griff Rider pretty late. It's not an awesome card or anything, but it's something for us to do. Look at all these blue cards coming around. 3 cards left, 3 blue cards. Poor blue. I guess blue's had its fair share of fun in the past, hasn't it? Just last set, in fact, it was the best color. How the mighty have fallen. Okay, now what have we here? A Brambleworm. This is a 7 mana, 7/6 reach trample, gains you 5 life. And you can exile it from your graveyard to gain 5 more life. I mean, I'm in love. That is marvelous top end for us. You know what this +1/+1 counter deck is missing? Ways to just quickly put +1/+1 counters on things. Okay, now we have a choice. There's another Sigarda summons, another rare. This is the one that turns your creatures with 1/1 counters on them. That gives them 4/4 base power, toughness, flying. You know what? If it comes back, I'll take it, but otherwise I'm not that interested. There's Flourishing Hunter, 6 mana, 6/6. What's our curve looking like? Actually doing pretty good with our curve. We could use a little more high end. I'll take the Flourishing Hunter. It was that or our 4th Toxic Scorpion, but at this rate we might get another, who knows. Cloaked Cadet. 5 mana, 2/4 trainer. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on one or more humans you control, draw a card. Ooh. That's pretty cool. I say yes to that. Wouldn't mind having that Sharpshooter Apprentice either, but our patience is rewarded. We get a Rural Recruit. 1/1 trainer that makes a 3/1 bear with it. It's awesome. It's just awesome. From here, nothing too interesting. A Spore Crawler. It's not bad. I wouldn't mind playing a Spore Crawler. Just a 3/2 that dies, draws you a card. Another Recruit. That's good. That's good. A big fat pack of red cards that we don't care about. And now what do we have? A Crushing Canopy. Is that worth playing? I'll think about it. We'll see what our playables look like at the end of this. We are rounding out this draft quickly now. Lots of cards that we don't care about. We can just relax. Isn't it nice? No more thinking. See? Can't play any of these cards. Beautiful. Take this red card, because why not? Take yet another... No, we're going to take a Cradle of Safety just to ruin somebody's day. Or I guess more realistically, to prevent someone's day from being ruined. It's an annoying card. Another sip of tea. Another Witch's Web. Probably, at least one, probably both those are going to get cut. It's cool and all, but definitely on the chopping block. Okay, let me create this masterpiece and I'll get right back to you. And just like that, like magic, we're back. Here's what I've got for you. Green-white counters. We've got as our juice, we've got 2 Sigardian Paladins, 1 Tauren's Fist of the Angels for our green-white payoffs for counters. To empower that, we've got 2 Pig recruits, rural recruits. We've got some trainers with Griffwing Cavalry, Griff Riders. We've got other stuff too. I think this deck, where it's going to suffer a little bit, is that it's got lots of great payoffs for 1/1 counters and not as many ways to get them as I would like. Let's see how it goes, though. We do have a high end. We do have Brambleworm and Flourishing Hunter as our big payoffs. So, after a quick break, a word from our sponsors, we'll get into match 1.
Near the small village of Heartscrest lies an idyllic hollow abundant with flowers and berry bushes. The Warren of Petal Grove is vast and expansive. Hundreds of generations have hopped around its many twisting tunnels. Stories say that this warren has been here since Loam's creation, and all rabbits who inhabit the continent today descended from them. Humans and other various predators come to hunt for rabbits every now and then, nothing out of the ordinary, and until recently, the rabbits of Petal Grove have lived in relative peace. Hello, I'm Amber, the GM of the Warren of Petal Grove. The Warren is a game about intelligent rabbits trying to make the best of a world filled with hazards, predators, and worst of all, other rabbits. I really love the idea of having a game and setting where I plus players could tell several short stories. So I recruited 12 players to play in 3 different mini-stories, all set inside the same Warren. Sessions are aired live on twitch.tv/Geekspective. You can find the VODs on Geekspective's YouTube, and you can find the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go to geekspective.com for more information.
Let the games begin. Our opponent is rocking a very sexy-looking Sorin as their avatar. We, unsurprisingly, have a Toxic Scorpion in our hands. And, I think we're going to see how that goes. Let's keep these cards. Play a Forest and pass. Opponent goes Plains and passes. Copycat. Play this Toxic Scorpion. 1/1 Death Toucher. This is a little scorpion who could. I hope he can. Opponent does nothing. They could just be sitting on... Oof. Here's what I'm afraid of. I could play my Bramble Armor. 2 mana, attaches to a creature, gives it +2/+1. But they could easily have that 1 mana do 2 damage to an attacking creature, sorry. We didn't come here to be cowards. And we also have nothing else to do this turn. They didn't have it. We're rewarded. 20-17. Now it's a 3/2 Toxic Scorpion. This is everything I could have ever wanted. Go for the attack again. It's 20-14. Our opponent has not played anything. Just bad news for them, because we are playing a Pig recruit. A 1/1 and a 3/1. We love it. I mean, depending what they do here, we could do some nasty stuff and play Arm the Cathars. Okay, they sanctified our Bramble Armor. We're not going to be upset about that. It did give them some life, it's true. Now, we're gonna go ahead and go for the Arm the Cathars. Okay, who's getting 3/3? Scorpion is, because he deserves it. We hit them for a huge chunk of damage. They are down to 5. They play a Nebelgas Beguiler, which will slow us down ever so slightly. Okay, so next, we're going to attack with everything. Our recruit gets trained up again. Opponent goes to 1. And after that, I think we're going to hit them with a Flourishing Hunter. So it's a 6-mana 6/6. It gained us 3 life. It's 23-1. Our opponent has many problems that they need to answer, and fast. They put a Nurturing Presence on their Beguiler, which does give them another blocker. They still have 1 attacker that they need to stop, because any amount of damage they take is lethal. They play another Nurturing Presence. That has made their Beguiler quite large and in charge. Okay, so at this point, we're going to play Sigardian Paladin. Go to combat. I think we just attack with all our creatures. Our recruit is now a 4/4, which is awesome. They have to block all of this stuff, or they die. We're going to give our recruit lifelink and trample, and that will be the game. Our opponent did help us out there by not playing anything for the first few turns, but we stepped on the gas and we never looked back. That was a thing of beauty. Always feels good to get that first win and know you're not going to get skunked. As you can see, I have very high aspirations in this game. Why do I play such difficult games? It really is a curse to want to be the best at things, knowing you're not even in the top 50%. The internet is good. Like, it's made me better at certain games. Like, I could imagine playing League of Legends against bots or Smash Brothers against my friends for a long time. But once you go online and you see what people can really do, it does push you to be even better. Or it pushes you to quit. Which will it be today? I mean, this hand has 2 Toxic Scorpions in it, so I don't see how we can ever lose. We're going to lose to a Blood Fountain. Now, we have to give credit where credit is due and confess our inaccuracies. Seth and I were very down on blood. but blood has proven to be a very valid strategy. They've played a rare Voldaran Bloodcaster, 2 mana, 2/1 flying. When it or another non-token they control dies, they make a blood token. If they control 5 or more blood tokens, it transforms into a 3/3 flyer. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat with flying and haste. Oh my god. Transform cards are cool, but good lord, do they have a lot of text. Complexity creep is very real. They played Undead Gerard Butler, 1/2 that mills them some cards, and an Unholy Efficient. You know, what do we do here? We have a Griff Rider. We also have a Wolf Strike, which we can use to just kill their Bloodcaster. But we're really not in a hurry to kill their Bloodcaster, are we? Yeah, play the Griff Rider. Get the creature out on the board. Any attacks? Oh, do you hear it? Off in the distance. The sound of the rice cooker. Do we want to start attacking? No. I think we hold the Scorpion back. Undead Gerard is pretty sweet. 2 mana 1/2, mills 3 cards, and when it dies, you get to raise dead. Something else. And they play a Persistent Specimen. They've got a brew going on, and I kind of dig it. They don't want to attack with their Bloodcaster. I guess that makes sense. Like, my card is so much sweeter than theirs. We just attack into them. Yeah, I mean, if they want to block with their Bloodcaster, they can go right ahead. They do so. Like I said, there's this problem of this Butler hanging around here, but what are you going to do? They play Gift of Fangs on my Cavalry. It's a dead weight on a non-vampire and a +2/+2 aura. Now see, they're attacking me with their Undead Butler and their Persistent Specimen. I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and block the Butler. That's some fantastic consonants there. Now we drew a Nebelgast Beguiler. I'm going to play it. Again, it uses up our mana. It's a very basic concept in the game of using up as much of your mana as you can. That's how you gain a tempo efficiency on your opponent. Plus this 2/5 is going to very nicely gum up the ground. Our opponent played an exploit card. Fell Stinger. 3 mana 3/2. Death Touch. Great ability. When it exploits a creature, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. So they've got a 3/2 Death Toucher that exploited their Persistent Specimens, which they can get back, and they drew 2 cards. That is a good bit of business right there. We've been drawing pretty poorly, I gotta say. I'm gonna play a Toxic Scorpion. It gives our Nebelgast Beguiler a Death Touch, which is pretty funny. No attacks. So the game stands right now 17-18. We have our Tapper and a 1/1 Death Toucher. They have a 3/2 Death Toucher, and they have a 1/2 Vigilance creature that is getting to the point where it can start putting counters on it for 5 mana. They recast their Bloodcaster now. And the big problem here is I have 2 cards left, one of which is a land, and they have 5 total cards in their hand. We're going to go ahead and beguile their Fell Stinger. Keep it tapped down. Only weaken Death Touch. Alright, it's our turn. We're going to go ahead and Wolf Strike with their Bloodcaster before it gets out of hand. I don't want them somehow making 3 blood tokens on their turn and just destroying me. And we pass. Now, this is very problematic. What do we need to draw out of this? We honestly need like one of our high-end cards to start smashing in, but even that's not really very good because they have their Fell Stinger. Basically, to win, we would have to play our 6 or 7 drop, start tapping their Fell Stinger with Beguiler, and pray that none of these 6 cards they have can deal with it. And not only that, that they also don't draw into something that can deal with it. I don't know if it's clear by that description of the way things are, but things are not good. Things are not good for us. We drew another land. It's one of those games where I'm not actively losing at the moment, but I am going to lose this game. And so it feels pretty bad to keep being forced to play it. I say forced, I could concede at any time. It just feels silly to give up. Your life total's at 17, now 15. Drew Cloaked Cadet. We'll play it. We just don't have ways back into this, I'm sorry. It's the hazards of aggro, right? If you fall behind, there's not a good plan to get back into it. They just Gift of Fangs our Toxic Scorpion. That's incredibly rude. Now the floodgates have opened. Alright, we'll see what we draw this turn. We're at 10. If we don't draw something relevant this turn, we're going to call it a day. It's troublesome too, because they also have 3 blood tokens they can keep sifting. We drew another land, so true to my word, we will concede. Defeat. Okay. 1 win, 1 loss. Everything to play for. Going into game 3. We're going against gorillas? What? Didn't know they played. Opponent goes first. Got a Piercing Light and a Toxic Scorpion for early plays, and then a Griff Rider and a Wolf Strike. Seems like a perfectly acceptable hand. Opponent goes Plains. We drew a Spore Crawler. I don't hate that. Drog Skull Infantry. Might be going against the blue-white Disturb deck. They've only played white so far. Well, good luck against my Scorpion dude. They don't attack. Very wise. Very wise. Okay. Now what? I think we go ahead and attack them. See if they block it. So we get punished by a Piercing Light. Nope. They fought for a little while, but I don't know what that means. I'm going to play a Spore Crawler. 3/2 that dies into a card. Opponent is mono white so far, just passing the turn back. Attack with both my guys and see what they do. So they want to trade their Drog Skull for a Spore Crawler. Question is, do I Piercing Light that? I think I do. Weird as that may sound. Leave a Rural Recruit on top. Get our damage in. It's now 20 to 18. Play our Griff Rider. So hopefully will set us up for a nice training turn next. Play a Vampire Slayer. Okay, so what do we do here? We have a Cloak Cadet, which means we could train. Yeah, I think that's what we do. So we're going to play the Cloak Cadet. 2/4 training. We're going to attack with our Spore Crawler and Griff Rider. Our Griff Rider trains. It's a human, got a counter, so we draw a card. Our Spore Crawler traded with their Vampire Slayer, so we drew an extra card. Wow, look at this engine. And our opponent concedes. Now that was a hell of a series of events. More mono-white opponents who concede after playing nothing for the first few turns. More like that, please. I need it. I need it deep and strong. We're 2-1. Here we go. Game 4. Mixed results so far. You know, it's hard to say no to an opening hand with a Toxic Scorpion, and so I will not. Just gives you such a safe, warm feeling, the Toxic Scorpion. Opponent went Mountain. First of those we've seen today. And an island. Ooh. Saucy. They played a Kessig Flame Breather, a 1/3. When they cast a non-creature spell, it does damage to each opponent. You don't say. Let's see. What do we want to do next turn? Don't really care about being attacked. We're going to play the Taxidermist. So hopefully we can, next turn, rush out the Pig Farmer. The MVP. I don't know if it's an MVP. It's just a really solid card. They play Selhoff and Tumor. This is the looter that demands that you discard creatures specifically, which... don't know. Here comes the pig. I love that it makes the squeeze sound. LSV must love that. Okay, they play Reckless Impulse. Exile the top 2 cards, and then they can play those cards. It did a damage to me, so it's now 19 to 20. Okay. Now what would we like to do? We could Toxic Scorpion and Bramble Armor. I think what we're going to do is Bramble Armor the pig. Becomes a 5/2. Go to combat. Attack with our recruit. And with the pig. So the recruit trains up. They can double block if they wish. They do not. They just take 5 damage. 19 to 15. And surprise, it's a Toxic Scorpion. I really should have done that before, shouldn't I? Yeah. So much of the value of Toxic Scorpion is bound up in just being a 1/1 death touch that I forget that it has this secondary ability. It temporarily gives death touch when it comes into play. Played Scattered Thoughts. Look at the top 4, put 2 in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. Flame Breather did another damage to me, so it's 18 to 15 now. They're at 15, huh? Do I arm the Cathars is the question. I think yes. +3/+3 to our Taxidermist. +2/+2 to the Scorpion. +1/+1. Cancel that last one. 3/3. 2/2 to the pig. 1/1 to the Scorpion. Basically, I want the pig to live. I want it to live through a double block. Your opponent has 1 blue mana. I mean, what could they do here? Yeah, that's right. Nothing. Train up the recruit. They take it to the mouth and die. Piggy, piggy. This is amazing. I say the pig is the MVP, and I think quietly that is actually the case. But Arm the Cathars is so much damage out of nowhere. Alright, we're 3 wins, 1 loss. Our opponent goes first, and here we are with no Scorpion and nothing to do before turn 3. And then no turn 4 play either. We're gonna mulligan that. Ugh. Our second hand does not look better, but we cannot afford to. We cannot afford to throw this away. This, depending on what our opponent throws at us, this might be an L. Another planes. These dudes love their planes, and so do I. Draw out the Allenbach Escort. Prepare to be 1/1 Vigilanced. They respond with a Perish Blade Trainee, a 1/2 creature. Oh, but we drew the ultimate counter. Thank you, Toxic Scorpion. Thank you. Give this guy... Yeah, I will attack with the Allenbach. Yeah, look at that technology. The Death Touch goes in the Allenbach. He can punch through a damage. He has Vigilance, so he's still back on quote-unquote defense. And then our opponent played Kindly Ancestor. 2/3 lifelink that can disturb into a etc., etc. 2/3 lifelink. You know the deal. Now, choose attackers. No. You know what? Let's attack with the Allenbach and see what they do. I bet they just take it. If they attempt to block, see, they just take it. I had the Piercing Light. If they wanted to try me, I would gladly trade a Piercing Light for one of their creatures. Now they're coming at me with Perish Blade Trainee and Kindly Ancestor. This is rough. Go to blockers. I think we probably want to kill the Trainee. Yes, it's going to give a 1/1 counter over to the Kindly Ancestor, which is not the most thrilling. Oh my, they hit us with a Lantern Flare, a rare. Does X damage to target creature, and you gain X life. X is the number of creatures you control. Okay. Fair play. Well, I think we're going to get roasted here. Yeah, because we didn't draw a land, so we can't even play anything. The only thing we have is our Escort, getting in for 1 damage at a time. But the Kindly Ancestor is healing them up nicely. Alright. We basically... Oh, they're going to destroy us. They played a Markov Waltzer. 1/3 Flying Haste at the beginning of combat gives +1/+0 to 2 creatures. So we take a ton of damage and we go down to 10. We drew our 7-drop. This game is done. That's how it feels. I don't like it. I don't like it. That brings us to 3 and/or 2, which means we are now on death's door. We need to win to continue playing. Gotta say, pretty pleased with the results so far. I've had such trouble in these recent formats of getting a good beat on things. One of the first decks that actually feels like it has a game plan and it comes together sometimes. How are you doing today? Have you taken the time you need? Take that time now. I heard you like toxic scorpions. What if I were to offer you 2 toxic scorpions? I'm a sucker. I can't resist. Trust the hands. Okay. A crushing canopy. A Sigardian Paladin with nothing to enable it. Opponent goes a Blood Fountain. Last time we had that done to us, it did not turn out very well. Let's see what they think about these scorpions. Get this. Next turn, play another Toxic Scorpion, and give my Death Touch Toxic Scorpion Death Touch. So the Blood Fountain, you pay for, sacrifice it. You get 2 creature cards back in your hand. I could Crushing Canopy it. No. I think we can do better. Because we can play a Toxic Scorpion. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but for our draw this turn, we drew a Toxic Scorpion. Now, if I'm remembering right, that is all the Toxic Scorpions. They play Panicked Bystander. 2/2. When it or another creature they control dies, they gain a life. At the beginning of their turn, if they gain 3 or more life, you transform it into Cackling Culprit, a 3/5. When it or another creature they control dies, they gain a life and can pay 2 to give it Death Touch. Oofda. Well, you can shove that right up your butt. I can see why this bystander is panicked. It's a crowd of scorpions skittering after him. Let's play their Sigardian Paladin. The 4/4 Bay. With each passing day, when I use slang or lingo, I wonder if I've already crossed the threshold. If I already think I'm using it correctly. Or not even correctly. I know that's correct. How out of date is that? Does anyone say bay anymore? And the fact that I have to ask suggests to me the answer is no. No one says bay. I'm 67 years old. Today's my birthday. Opponent's acting like they want to attack with their bystander, which I don't know about that one, dog. I would probably let it go through. They play Innocent Traveler, a 1/3. Beginning of their upkeep, any opponent may sacrifice a creature if no one does the transform. It transforms into a 3/3 flyer. Well, joke's on you, because I do have a way to kill a flyer with a Crushing Canopy. I think we're just going to attack with everything. And then we're going to go Griff Rider and the final Toxic Scorpion. And we'll give one of my other Scorpions double Death Touch. Hell yeah. They want me to sacrifice a creature. I'll decline. They can have their flyer. Because I can kill it with my Canopy. And before they play a gigantic flying demon that I have to deal with. That would suck. Assuming this works, assuming I can Crushing Canopy, this next turn I'll be able to attack with the Paladin and the Griff Rider and really make some stuff happen. They play Ragged Recluse. 2/1, begin their end step. If they discard a card, transform it. They activate the blood, so they get that trigger. So now she's going to be an Odious Witch 3/3. When she attacks defending player, it loses 1 life and they gain 1 life. And not surprisingly, they hit me for 5 in the air. That's fine. Okay. So now we attack with the Griff Rider, the Paladin, and let's say 2 Scorpions. Our Griff Rider trains up. Let's see what they do for blocking. Maybe double blocking the Paladin. No, they do Fierce Retribution, destroy target attacking creature. That's fine. We're going to use her ability though. Give our Griff Rider Trample and Lifelink. And then to damage. I don't see a reason to run out the Crushing Canopy. Who knows, maybe they'll throw some crazy equipment or something on their invader, waste some mana. That'd be cool. Another Panicked Bystander. I mean, that is going to buy them some time, because when a creature they control dies, they're going to be gaining 2 life. Also makes it pretty close to where they're going to be hitting the point where those both flip simultaneously, which is quite scary. Okay, so they're attacking with the Bystander. Alright, we're going to Crushing Canopy the invader. They gain a couple life, and then that's fine. We don't want to block again with a Death Toucher, because then they flip their stuff. No thanks. Okay, so they Blood Fountain back a couple cards to their hand. Now it's our turn. Makes me sad. So we drew our rare, Torrent Assist the Angels. This is a card that is really amazing on turn 3, and pretty mediocre after that. So we'll attack with a Griff Rider and a Scorpion. 16-8, by the way. Opponent deep in the tank thinking about this attack. Okay, so they throw away one of their bystanders. They gain a couple life. They go up to 7 actually, after all is said and done. Alright, we're gonna play our Torrens. This feels so bad. So what's the best thing that could happen now? What's the best thing we could draw? Honestly, again, one of our big finishers would be pretty sweet. Careful what you wish for though there, Kenny. You've got 6 mana, and you do have a 7-drop and no cards in hand. So they played Heron of Hope. 2/3 flyer. It boosts their life gain by 1, and you can pay 2 to give it lifelink. So pretty soon they're going to have their Panicked Bystander flipped. Ooh, but we drew a Wolf Strike. The question is, what do we try to take out here? I think we Wolf Strike the Heron of Hope. Clear the way for an attack. And then we attack with all? He asked questioningly. Oh. I was going to attack with all. They did concede, though. I don't think that game was over. They had one card in hand, I guess. Okay. Fair enough. That is fair enough for me. I've discovered what I need to do to get a bunch of wins. I need to have an upcoming appointment. Because then that's pitting my two desires against each other. It's like, oh, I need to wrap this up pretty soon. Oh, but I keep winning. Oh, no. Some next level strats. Tempting the universe. Daring the universe to screw you over by making you win a lot of games of Magic. Nice try, Cosmos. Well, this is it, folks. If we lose here, we're out, as we said. If we win, we are officially in the black. And we have come out positive with this draft. Okay. We've got Toxic Scorpion, Double Sigardian Paladin, and Bramble Armor. We're going to keep to my policy. If we have a Toxic Scorpion and a way to cast it, the universe is our oyster. And we're going to crack that sucker open. You start with a Traveling Minister, 1/1. Tap, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. You gain 1 life. Ooh. You know what counters that nicely? A Toxic Scorpion. It doesn't really counter it nicely, but boy do I feel better. They want to attack with their Traveling Minister. No blocks. I'm good. Yeah, you go for it, bud. Because I'm going to Bramble Armor my Scorpion. I'm going to hope you don't have a Piercing Light. You don't. So now it's 19-17. How does that trade grab you? Another black-white opponent. They cracked their Evolving Wilds. They did not do that on our turn, so hopefully that's really biting them in the butt. Okay, they passed the turn. Well, we're going to keep the attack going. Got another 3 damage. It's 19-14. And drop our first Sigardian Paladin. Now we've got some business going. So depending what they play, on our turn we could drop another Paladin. Or if they drop something we need to deal with, we could Wolf Strike it. A Panic Bystander. And a Nurturing Presence. Okay. I think we just attack with our guys and let them figure it out. Okay, they double block. So they're going to lose both their creatures, the Minister and the token. They're left with the Panic Bystander. They go to 12. And we're going to play another Paladin. Next turn, again, we'll have options. We can Wolf Strike, we can equip the Bramble Armor. If we draw a land, we can play a Flourishing Hunter. They go for a Blood Crazed Socialite. 3/3 Menace makes a blood token when it comes into play. When they attack, they can sacrifice a blood token to give it +2/+2. We did draw a land. Let's see. You know, here's what we're going to do, I think. We go to combat. We attack with all. Go to blockers. We see if they want to double block. If they double block, they do. We can then Wolf Strike the Socialite. Kills it. And then the Panic Bystander also dies. They just got 3 for 1. It's 19-10. Game's not over. They've got 5 mana. And they've got 3 cards in hand. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So they just got us with a Path of Peril. Cleaved. It destroyed all creatures. A rare Wrath that we just got host by. Well, you know, it's not all bad. We do have a Flourishing Hunter, a 6/6. They bleed it dry and kill it. their removal is coming in strong. Let's see. Played the rural recruit to try to rebuild our forces. That's unfortunate. I think that's one of the very few things they could have done to fight back there. So they play a desperate farmer. And a pointed discussion. So they did lose 2 life there, so. Alright, so now what do we do? We could equip the bramble armor to the pig. You know, I think instead we're just going to do this. Go to combat. Attack with both our creatures. Train the recruit. They block the pig. That's an interesting choice. Then we're going to play a Griff Rider and our Allenbach Escort. And end the turn. Next turn we've got attacks depending on what happens. They play a Kindly Ancestor and a Bride's Gown, which they equip. So they have a 4/3 lifelinker. That's quite good for them. It's a way back into the game. Okay, it's our turn. A Spore Crawler. I think we equip the Griff Rider with the Bramble Armor. Go to attack. Attack with the Griff Rider and the Recruit. The Recruit trains. They're probably going to block. They do. So they go to 8. Oh, that was bad of me. I should have used my Allenbach to save it. They play another rare, Welcoming Vampire. 3 mana, 2/3. Flying. Whenever... Slow down with the trigger so I can read the card. Whenever one or more creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Do that once a turn. And they equipped it up, and Ancestor's Embrace, so now it's a 4/3 flying lifelink. I think now we have to not attack. Reason being, if we attack, we do 4 damage. They just won't block. And then they just crack us back for 4, and they wind up in the same place, and we've lost 4 life. And this way, if they want to attack, they're going to have to trade off their vampire. They have Groom's Finery too. So this combos with the Bride's Gown. So it gives it +2/+2 and first strike together. And they didn't want to attack. Why? Our opponent has a 6/7 lifelink first strike death touch flyer. And they're just sitting back on it for unknown reasons. I literally have played out my hand. There's no reason for them to be dilly-dallying. They figured it out. No blocks. It's that one hit. Change it to 13 to 14. We basically don't have a way to win. Not even this Bramble Worm, I'm sorry to say it, is at this point it's not good enough. Unfortunately. Well, a good series of games. Pretty pleased with how that went. Even in that last game, we had it well in hand until they played the rare Wrath against us, and I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of silly to play around that stuff with an aggro deck. We needed those creatures we had on board to win. Well, good stuff. Thank you for joining me today and getting back into Crimson Vow. I don't know if there will be another MTG ASMR for Crimson Vow before the next set drops. Either way, thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon.